I'm going to begin from nothingness and move my way out of there while explaining, showing why it is impossible to rise from a state of nothingness. I will also show you how scientists reinterpret the meaning of nothingness when they get caught contradicting themselves in the laws of physical science. Tricky words that are used in order to make you believe that we arose from a state of nothingness, while very well knowing that these states of, for example, zero velocity, 0-point energy, and quantum fluctuations actually require something already present in order to create the illusion of nothingness, i.e. 0-point velocity, 0-point energy, and quantum fluctuations, virtual particles which appear to pop into existence from a state of nothingness. The laws of motion. What are these laws? 1. Every object persists in a state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled to change that state by forces impressed on it. 2. Force is equal to the change in momentum per change in time. Force is equal to the change in momentum per change in time for a constant mass. Force equals mass times acceleration. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, by using the laws of motion, I can show that nothingness is a permanent state of rest, and a state of rest will continue to stay within a state of rest forever. Why is there something instead of nothingness? Now, for non-existence to be true, then non-existence must not exist. Nothingness implies not a thing. Nothingness is non-existence. If someone says that non-existence exists, then by saying that, they are implying that you can actually take away something from a state of nothingness, a state that doesn't exist. Therefore, it takes away from the meaning of non-existence. By dissecting the presence of non-existence, you realize that there isn't anything to dissect, and in order to dissect something, you always require something physical or eternal already present. In short, you cannot deduce something or quantify, which means to express as a number or measure or quantity of something, unless there is something already physically or eternally present. Once again, I ask, why is there something instead of nothingness? If something exists and nothingness is the absence of something, then something must have always existed, since something obviously exists. So we then have to find out if the material world can exist within an eternal state. Eternal is the absence of a beginning, absent of an end, and absent of forward time. If not, then we have to find something within our universe that exists, which carries eternal, non-physical properties. The conservation of energy is simply a simple term. The chicken and the egg. Another way that scientists try to prove that this universe is eternal, even though waves are two-dimensional planes and photons and particles are dimensional objects. Therefore, they are suggesting that the energy, the egg, and mass, the chicken, are a natural, eternal, recycled process which began from an eternal state. Conservation of energy, the total amount of energy in an insulated system, remains constant over time, is said to be conserved over time. A consequence of this law is that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be transformed from one form to another, or transferred from one place to another. The only thing that can happen to energy in an isolated system is that it can change form. For instance, chemical energy can become kinetic energy. Energy can enter or leave a closed system. What does this mean? Well, it's like creating a flowing circle of energy, transforming itself into mass, and it looks like this circle is actually a non beginning and non-ending recycling process, but it's not. When you dissect the physical properties of this recycling conservation of energy, you realize that energy wave particle is simply a two-dimensional wave and transforms into a three-dimensional state of mass. Now, can eternal recycling states be composed of dimensions? Are you kidding me? You might as well say that the chicken and the egg are also eternal, since they are a continuous, non-ending cycle. But it's always about the dimensions. What do dimensions have to do with proving an eternal state? Good question. You cannot have dimensions within a state of nothingness. Why not? Motion is required in order to create two separate points, T1 through T2 creates dimensions. Motion, once again, is necessary in order to prove that material states cannot exist within a state of nothingness via activity equals motion. The very act of having dimensional states alone proves that energy and mass have dimensional beginnings and shall have a dimensional ending. Same thing as the chicken and the egg dilemma. Now, let's find out if dimensions can exist within an eternal state. What created dimensions for the very first time? The expansion of the Big Bang. I see. This is when scientists began to get nervous. They realized that if dimensions are indeed created and emerged at the Big Bang, then they have to hide dimensional states before. Did you catch that? Before the Big Bang. Why do they have to hide dimensions, you may ask? Well, good question. It's because that which defines a beginning physical state, expansion of 2 points via motion, creates T1 through T2 dimensional lengths. These lengths are the beginning physical properties needed in order to create our three-dimensional, excluding one-dimensional time universe.